Ben-Hur must be turning green with envy. This is much bigger. Never at this festival have there ever been anything like this number of people on the same stage. First question, Yosso, you're the reason that this exists. This is certainly unprecedented here. If we were in India, would we ever see a choir of this magnitude?
Thank you, Doug. And I'm not sure, I don't think I've seen in India during the music festival also as a choir. And first of all, I would like to pay my respect to my guru, Sri Neyveli Santhana Gopalan, who is here. And besides, is my mad passion, is the reason who's our teacher. So I'll probably referring as a guru. In Indian classical music, we learn from a teacher, not just getting something taught, but the teacher who actually teaches us and bless. So that's the teacher-student, the respect and the relationship. So that's why I'll be referring as a guru. Thank you.
And he has come here directly from India especially, but in day-to-day life you have that obvious challenge that you are here in Perth, he's there in India. So how do you deal with that?
Thanks for the latest technology, I think. And our guru, he comes regularly here and we have annual workshops and concerts. And beside that, we have regular monthly practices. For example, for this particular show, we have been practicing for nearly 3 months over the weeks, weeknights and on weekends. So, and also when we practice, sometimes our guru he joins us online, or we record and send him back and get corrections. So thanks to high tech.
You're an exponent of what's called carnatic music, which is the southern of the two main Indian classical traditions, and you play an Indian lute which is actually much older than the better known lute in the Western world, which is the North Indian sitar, and that is the veena. How did you come to play the veena?
That's a good question. I actually started, it inspired me when I was 10 years old, but then like everybody else, on and off, year 11, 12, moving around countries and lived in different situations. I do come from Sri Lanka, but I spent a lot of time in India. Veena has been highly inspiring me for a long time, even though I did have some disconnection in between. And that's also the instrument for the goddesses Saraswati, the goddesses we pray for education in Hinduism.
Now, this is a community musical event. You've been playing and singing for a long, long time, seriously. This is not going to be true of every person in this ensemble. So how do you how do you get people to be involved in the first place, and then how do you get them to the point where what we're about to see and hear is actually possible?
This is what something called in the community actually coming together through music. So this is the Perth, I would say there are most of them are from India, Sri Lanka or various parts of India, Malaysia, Singapore or South Africa, it can be a number of different countries. So we have worked together over nearly, this is our 5th year. So we have been very lucky that to come as a choir on ensemble tonight, and especially with our guru's presence to be presenting this at Fairbridge Festival. This is a very well-marked festival. And I must say the Indianeye has been running nearly 14 years. But during the 10th anniversary, I thought, we haven't got enough audience turning up, or what am I doing for the community through music? So that's when this started. And we started with 15 of us on the first year. And now we have grown more than 100 of us. And thanks to all the teachers. And to my guru as well.
And we're talking an age range, I think, of around 5 to rather more than 10 times that. How did you go about recruiting people? I mean, you know, we all know some people put the sign up and hope somebody will turn up, and maybe they don't.
It is a very interesting question, and it is like Indian classical music, more traditionally, children get to listen at home. Always, it's very spiritual as well. You know, that's how the carnatic music songs are actually composed on gods or goddesses. So it is very spiritual. So normally the children will be listening at home, but they are living in a Western world. But I'm lucky enough that most of the parents who are here who have thought we should get the children to study in a different school. So I managed to convince most of the teachers who are here, who have helped a lot. I must thank them. I'm very grateful to them to bring this here. This is just not one person. This is the entire community coming together and working as a big team.
And to make a team like this work, we're talking all sorts of different people. It has to be hard work, I guess, and it has to be fun. So how do you get that combination to work?
Music is very powerful. There are times, yes, I do cry because when people don't turn up for practices, I probably actually do, I'm in tears or I'm very frustrated. And then I go home and actually play the music even louder. So then my husband probably knows that I'm probably had a frustration, but it is fantastic. When we actually get together, when we are performing, and when we have the entire percussion orchestra helping the vocalist, it gives a full life to the music.
Australians generally don't sing. I mean, if you go to an Australian football match, it's not quite the vocal trick that the Welsh football game is. And I find it hard to believe that Perth's Indian community, everyone is somehow automatically better singers. Or are they?
I think we have inspired that. I must say that's where sometime this is the time I would like to take the privilege to say that we have probably inspired a number of young children. So I think it's growing, and I am very confident this will grow much bigger than what we are right now next year.
Yeah, I mean, if you take the average Australian that says, I can't sing, and then if you ask them to sing point blank, they proceed to prove it. But if you do some work with that person and get them to build their confidence, you discover that most people that can't sing actually can.
So that's the challenge I have, and with other teachers and the main major singers here or the other artists. What we try to do is monthly chamber concert. So we probably do the concert on a particular rag, or we might do actually on a composer or on a theme. So that sort of inspires people to come and sing better, or we can improve our knowledge better. Yeah.
Now, traditionally in Indian music, it's an oral tradition, and I guess that's rather handy because in 21st century Australia, I assume, including the Indian community, not everybody can read music.
That's a little bit hard question, but I could say this particular group has been inspiring a lot. And I think most of the kudos goes to my guru on that, how he has inspired for us to be singing better and getting better every year after year. So that's what I could say. And I also would like to make a note here. Most of the composition we'll be playing here tonight is by, the lyrics is written by our guru, Neyveli Santhana Gopalan. And music is also composed by him, and he will give you a bit more explanation just before each piece as we perform. For example, there is a song in India. So that particular song, though the lyrics in Tamil, he has used the rags in Carnatic, in South Indian, and Hindustan. So just to give a lovely blend, so how that anybody's ears can adapt into that.
Is there anything that you can put your voice on here now to give people a sense of what is characteristic of Indian vocal music that's different from Western vocal music?
We use the same Sarigama Padani is Dharami Fasalati, so the 7 notes is the basic in Indian classical and in Western classical music. But I can say Indian classical music, we could take 2 notes and we can improvise more, which is much more similar to a jazz music. So I'm sure that you are very familiar with that. And so if it's a rag, it depends on the rag, an artist can take, and they can elaborate nearly as 5 minutes or even for half an hour or 50 minutes and go. So that's where we have a bit more flexibility in working through the rags that. But saying that, similar to Western orchestra, in this particular orchestra we also have written notation today. So we are all following the notation is similar to any Western symphony orchestra, you would do that. Yeah. So we can play both.
There surely must be some good members of this choir who, at the point that you dragged them into the enterprise, were reluctant, that you had to convince them they would be able to do it. Surely that's the case.
Because Doug is definitely, he knows my character. I managed to convince everyone in different angle. So I have, some of them is unable to attend every practice as much as possible, and some can. But I do convince them that we have a responsibility to teach these young kids, these beautiful kids, this lovely music, and they will enjoy it. So I take it as, I always believe in corporate social responsibility. So this is what I took it as my CSR policy, giving back to the community. So that's how I've convinced all my friends, yes, we can do it, and let's do it together.
Did you always have in mind a choir of this magnitude?
I didn't. And that too in Western Australia, no, I didn't. Only when I met Neyveli Santhana Gopalan was here in 2013, he gave me an opportunity, and that we started with few of us in 2014 who are here, and they gave me tremendous support, and we grew, and of course with most of the parents and the grandparents supporting, that's how we are growing. And now I'm very confident we can take this further, and we are even hoping next year we might even work with the Western, any of the Western musicians too, which is already, the talk is just started.
I mean, it's very interesting living in 21st century Australia. If you look all over the world, there's this tension between people moving to a new place and really worried that they're going to lose their culture. It's remarkable the extent to which that's just not happening here. In fact, the reverse.
First of all, music is universal language, so I don't believe when someone says, oh, that's Indian music, I'm not coming, or that's Western music, or this is pop. Music is a global language, and that's why I think our Guru has chosen some of the pieces we are starting with in English notes, Noctu Suram, the notation is more as a Western kind of a tune into it. So that kind of gives a kind of a kick to the children. Okay, that's very interesting, we can sing. So instead of using lots of words and lyrics, so we start with notations. So that they can be singing whether in the bathroom, at home, they can be singing. So that's
This is about as many people as this stage could take. Is this as big as this is going to get?
First of all, I forgotten to thank Rod Bobus, the artistic director. I'm not sure, Rod, are you here? Thank you so much, Rod. This wouldn't have happened. This actually, I just wrote an email to Rod in December when by this time they have finalized all the programs. I just said to him, we do have an Indian classical choir group. Would you be interested, or would you have a slot for this? And he came back straight away, and he had some kind of a trust in me. So I am going to be, hopefully, my Guru is here, so I'll pass the responsibility to him and the accountabilities, that we will justify your trust in all of us tonight, Rod. And thank you so much. And we were going to have about 115 members. Luckily, some of them couldn't make it, so we got stuck to the 92 numbers. So I'm quite happy in a way that fits. So we might give another challenge, Lord, for next year's program.
So thank you very much. I think we need to hear the proof of this pudding.